Good evening and welcome to the garage. We have here a 42RE transmission from a 2003 Jeep Grand Cherokee. The problem is the transmission does not go in reverse. We've got it removed from the vehicle, as you can clearly see. And right now I'm just cleaning up the outside a little bit. Getting ready to take her apart. Now I'm committing a cardinal sin here. I have not obtained a copy of the service manual yet. We're going to see how far we can get before we need to go to that. So the overdrive section's been removed. We're going to take her out in two pieces. She's going to have a proper transmission jack. Actually, I was really hoping that I'd be able to get away with just rebuilding the overdrive unit. But took it into the transmission shop on account of the big spring that's in there. And they said, you know, based on the way that this overdrive unit looks, your whole transmission is probably in pretty bad shape. So we went ahead and took out the rest of it with the assistance of some friends. I don't know if they want to be named, so I'll let them remain nameless for now. If you know me, you know who you are. Thank you. So, without further ado, let's begin. The transmission has been drained. Had the pan off of it already while it was under the vehicle, and you can see after I got it on the bench here, it let out a little more transmission fluid. I'm going to try to keep things in frame here. It's my first time doing anything like this, so be gentle. So first thing we want to do, get this thing flipped over. We've got, oh no, flipping it over is not the first thing we want to do, is it? We got front band adjuster here. We'll probably need to loosen that guy up. We've got the solenoid connector here. That's probably got to come out. Neutral safety switch here. I'm assuming this is the throttle position center here. We'll pull that off. This is for the shifter. We'll get that off, and we'll flip her over, see if we can't get the valve body out. Should be a fun afternoon. I know I said evening at first, but any time's fluid when you're hanging out with me. So, try to get just a little more of this gunk off. You can see the coolant lines, and attempt to keep some of this gunk from the outside from getting inside. Just used a couple of earplugs here. I figure seems like as good a plug as anything. And if they're good enough for my ears, they're good enough for my transmission. That's what I say. So let's see what we can do. This guy here. That is all plastic, which is a little concerning. I might pause the video here and go see how someone else has done that. Neutral safety switch probably takes a bigger socket than anything I have, so we'll probably just go with that with a pair of channel locks, my favorite tool. This is a 10mm here for this throttle cable. Sure enough. Now, grab the old PV blaster. I know PB Blaster is not a penetrating oil, and I know most people tell you it does nothing. But you know what? For this stuff that's rusted up, I'm willing to just take a chance, give it a douse. It's the worst that can happen. It's not going to make it any tougher to get it out. Try to get the excess here. Also helps clean some more of this gunk off the outside. I would certainly not suggest that you use this video as a guide. If you're going to do your own, get a manual, talk to a professional, figure out how to do it right. I'm doing this as a hobby. Need something to fill up some time. So, you know, your mileage may vary, all that good stuff. That's my disclaimer, and I'm sticking to it. Now, let's see if we can get this off without destroying anything. And then we're going to use, I'm going to get that without an extension. So I'm just going to, nice and easy, hopefully. Oh, it's taking a little force. There it goes. Let's see. Yeah, we're turning the bolt. That's good. Bolt is turning, not broken. That makes me happy. It's just a clamp on here. Stay all the way on the nut. Shift that down a little bit, get that out of the way. There we go, that's nicer. I got a feeling this bugger's gonna be rusted on here, something fierce. So we might need to find our large screwdriver and our persuader. Let's start with just the screwdriver, try the persuader later. I need to loosen up a little bit more. Whoa, there, loose. And I'm turning that nut on the back, so I need to get on. That was something. That's a square nut. Looks like it's designed so that the clip itself should retain it. In an ideal world. So if it then just breaks something, that would be annoying. I don't know how much you can see of what I'm doing here. There's not a whole lot to it, really. Just try to clamp that down there so we can get this guy. Hopefully, turn nice and easy without breaking anything. There we go. Okay, so that bolt through there is loose. Now, this frame. See if we can persuade this a little bit here. A little bit of impact goes a long way, so nice and easy here. They're just little parts at 15 years old. So I'm not going to go too nuts on it. We can avoid it. There's a washer under there. We can see that already. Right there. I don't know if it comes through on the video. Probably not. I'm working down the bottom corner. Well, like I said, first timer, be gentle. Are we moving it? Yeah, we're moving it. Nice and gentle. We're getting her slowly. That's fine. Patience is the name of the game, I'm told. There we go. Popping right up and off. There we go. So there we've got the arm for the throttle cable. Looks like I managed to do it without fucking anything up too bad. You can see this little clip here looks like it's designed to retain that nut, which has little lumps on it, like maybe it was, things that look almost like it was tack welded to the bracket at one point to be a captive nut. But it's not so captive anymore, is it? We set it free! Alright, we'll set that aside. Come back to him later. Shift lever. This one looks like it's going to take bigger than a 10 millimeter. I think I got my 12 over here. Oh, it's bigger than a 12. Alright, let's try 13. Oh, that fits like a glove. Alright, so we'll get on this with the, I feel better using a 6-point on this guy. We'll use a 6-point socket. Keep the 10 aside. Put the 13 millimeter 12-point back where he lives. Of course, the 6-point is 1/4-inch drive. So we will grab our adapter later. And let's see what we got here. So this guy, it's like a similar setup. A little wire brush over here. We can check. Get a little bit tighter in here. Let's see. T would be tight. That's tight. Where's that shifter? Try to get that in the frame, huh? Where are we at here? Got the neutral safety switch. We need to come up a little bit. There we go. That's the nut we're trying to work on right there. The bolt we're trying to work on right there. Retaining nut is there. Puddle of PB blaster is there. Get that out. I can almost see the aluminum. Yeah. Yeah, we're making headway. You can actually see some of the aluminum of the housing. Isn't that nice? Alright. Well, let's see if we can't loosen this guy here nice and easy. Yerg. Ah, there we go. Alright, that's feeling pretty loose. Zoom this back out a little bit here. Alright, and now process for this guy should be pretty similar. Oh, we got an E-clip. Haha! Look at that, using eyeballs. We have an E-clip and a washer here. So we're just going to pull that E-clip. Should come just like that. There we go. There he is. Just a little guy. Oh, ah, there we are. Man, he's a slippery devil. Little E-clip. There we go. So we're going to put him with the TV cable hookup there. And we're going to slide this washer off. And we're going to put that washer underneath him so we know they go together between the TV cable hookup and the shifter cable hookup. That guy's loose. Oh, look at that. Let me just gently. Is that another washer? No, I think that's part of that piece. So this guy moved a little bit already. We ought to go just gently working back and forth. Try a little bit here. Try a little persuasion. Looks like the bottom side is happy to move at the top. It's a little stuck. Just get nice and gently. Can't really tell if he's moving yet or not. Try to be careful about where I'm prying. There we go. That's coming off of there. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. There we go. Now, hopefully, yeah, we've got a flat side on here. Matches up with the flat side on here. So that will only go back on one way. Stack these up the way they came out over here. There's the shifter, the washer, E-clip, and I guess it's the TV cable hookup. I don't know if it gets HBO or what, but it seems to be what they call it. So, crank position sensor is going to have to come out at some point, I think. Yeah, I might just try to work around that. I might work around that for now, try to replace it later. Neutral safety switch. Yeah, I have to look up how that comes out. So, neutral safety switch. I might have a socket big enough for that. I'm just kind of talking out loud as I go here, so try not to mind me too much. You know, I'm not going to be able to get a socket on there with that pan bolt in the way. I think that is a number 12. It's 12. And should have an extension around here. Organization, of course, is important for this sort of work. Of course, I've never been all that good at organizing. So, roller up here. You can see this pan bolt's going to interfere with trying to get any kind of socket in there. So we're going to pull that pan bolt. That is clearly not a 12. Maybe that's a 14. Oh, it's a 13. I've got a 6 point already. Oh my goodness. Got a 14 6 point here already. We can just go right on there. Just hit to on loosen. Meant to do that. It's a good spot to hold that. Yeah, just throw it on the floor. was feeling really slick for a second there too. Now I have a special bag for the transmission pan bolts. And you can tell it's for the transmission pan bolts because it says trans pan bolts. I don't know if that comes through for you. With that, well, hopefully help me know where everything goes when it comes time to put this thing back together, which hopefully I get to do at some point. Now, I'm kind of guessing this guy's metric. And this guy, whoa, that's going to be too big. I don't think that's going to work for this purpose. If I had a caliper, that'd be the bee's knees. Can I get a little... Let's see if this guy will work here. Again, you don't want to do this without a manual, which is what I'm doing. It's stupid, but hey. You know, sometimes you just gotta live a little, right? Just gotta live a little. So it's not a 24, let's try a 27. See if that gives us a good bite on it. Right now I'm just trying to get the socket off the holder. There we go. Let's see what that looks like. It kind of makes it, but it's loose. Do you have anything in between? No. We go right from 24 to 27. So that has got to be SAE. Fortunately, we've got some SAE deep sockets here. What about this guy? Got a 1 1/16. That's gonna be too large. What about this guy? Ooh, that's a good fit. That is a 1 inch. And that's 1/2 inch drive. Grab a 1/2 inch drive ratchet. And this should just, oh, there we go. Just took a little bit to break her loose there. That's just finger tight. One neutral safety switch removed. I'll put that over here with the other external bits and pieces. And now I'm going to pause the video while I find out how to take this out. I think I saw, you know what? This guy, I believe, just sticks through the casing. When we pull the valve body out, this guy should go right through. So I'm not, there's clearly nothing on the outside as far as lugs to try to get on it with a ratchet or anything. So I think we're going to just proceed with dropping the transmission pan. I have some tools to make that a little bit quicker. Keep a shop rag handy, of course. Try to keep our hands somewhat clean, keep our tools from getting too dirty. So, alright. Time for some power tools. What did we say that was? We said that was this 13 millimeter guy here. This 1/4 inch drive, I'll use the adapter. And we're not going to be wailing on anything here, so I have no qualms with using non-impact rated sockets. And this thing, it's an impact driver, not an impact gun. We're not going to booger anything up too bad as long as we keep it in reverse. Besides, these bolts should all be fairly loose. They've been out before. I just put them back in enough to hold the pan while I was working with my friends to remove the rest of the transmission. And now, of course, oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. 1/4-inch drive. That's even better. I'll just put the 14-inch socket off there. 1/4-inch drive there. Get her in the collar. All right. We're in reverse. Pull the rest of the transmission pan bolt. I can try to actually show this process, huh? Just in case someone is interested other than me. All right. Lose them. Let's grab a bag here. Remember a trans pan bolt bag? I'm sure you do. All right. Well, we got a little more fluid leaking out there down in that corner. Get a rag under that. Try to keep the I contain the spill somewhat. Okay, now we can pull the transmission pan, and under here we will find a bunch of fluid. There's the valve body. So let's inspect our transmission pan and see what we got here. We've got some fluid in there. Doesn't look, little bits of fluid there, and it don't look too bad. I think what happened is that the previous owner attempted to fix the problem with the transmission by just changing the fluid. This gasket is going to get replaced. I don't like the condition that it's in. Let's look at the magnet. Ooh, all right. So the magnet has filings all over it. I think that's probably pretty normal for a transmission that's got 200,000 miles on it. Probably didn't have the fluid changed until they had a problem with it. You got some real black sludgy stuff in the bottom. I get this cleaned up, probably off camera. Oh, it's just wiping it everywhere. Oh, and we're losing more fluid. Call in the containment folks, aka paper towels. Kill me. Alright, so I have already taken the liberty of removing the pressure governor and pressure solenoid. Did that while I was underneath here. I've also opened up the cover for the 3/4 accumulator spring. That accumulator spring is laying around here somewhere in 3 pieces. What did I do with that? It's a 3/4 accumulator spring in 3 pieces and the piston there. Together somewhere. I probably put them over on the... Yeah, there we go. Well, suffice it to say, the 3/4 accumulator spring is borked. I think the piston looked alright. I'll track those parts down here, off camera I suppose. So I'm just going to try to soak up some of this fluid here. Because we're going to be making a mess. The valve body is retained by these 6 bolts here. Those should all be 11 millimeter, if I recall correctly. Actually, I had those bolts out before, but the valve body wouldn't come because I didn't have all the stuff off of the top that I needed to. And let's see where that solenoid connector is. That solenoid connector is here, and it looks like there's nothing retaining it. I think there's just a seal around that. So when we get our valve body bolts off, that should just come. You can see where that shaft for the shifter comes through. That's all going to pull through the top of the transmission as well. We'll try to clean that up a little bit better so I don't pull a whole bunch of crap from the outside to the inside. Alright. So let's find our 11 millimeter guy here. That's 12. Shuffling some things around off camera here to try to figure out what we're doing. Let's see here. 1/4 inch drive. 12, 11. We're just going to go gently with these guys. We're going to leave them in their place until we get a chance to make sure that they're all the same length. Fairly certain that they are, but they are not always the same length. So, let's see what we got. So we got bottom left. We're just going to work around in an anti-clockwise motion. Ooh, that one is longer. This is that. I didn't stick to my anti-clockwise thing, did I? Okay. So we've got 3 longer ones. The longer ones go in these holes here. The 2 shorter ones go in these holes here. That makes sense. You can see there's a, well, maybe you can't. There is a difference. Get this over a little bit further here. So you can see, as far as the valve body is concerned, it's going to come a little tighter here. So, there we frame. No, we are not. Going to go a little wider. You can see the valve body has a step up here where this is stepped up. And this part that looks like a rough casting as opposed to down here where it's machined. This machined surface is what gets the shorter bolts. This cast part gets the longer ones. Oh, and we got one more here. That looks like it's probably going to be a short one. Looks like I only took out 5. So we're going to take out number 6 here. And that should be a short one if I'm not mistaken. Sure enough, just like the other short ones. So, we have to remember that. Long holes, long bolts. That makes sense, right? So, part of my organization, which I previously mentioned I'm not too good at naturally, is to take the bag here and a Sharpie here. And we're going to put on here, these are the valve body bolts. That's auto frame, sorry. Valve body bolts. put them in the bag, and then we'll know where these go later. And over to the parts department. Now, if I am not mistaken, this whole valve body now should pretty well just lift out of here. We might need to apply a little bit of pressure to the, yeah, just a little bit of pressure on the connector for the solenoids is all it took, for the solenoid connector. Just gotta pull this guy out of here. Nice and easy. You can see we got our park rod still engaged. And I'm just gonna pull that forward. And there we go. The valve body is out. Oh, there we go. So there's the top of the valve body. One of the symptoms that we had with this transmission was that there was a broken snap ring that came in where the overdrive unit attached. So we're going to keep an eye out for bits and pieces of that. We're going to take the valve body and set her aside for now. So I'm not feeling quite equipped to work on that at the moment. Now, what do we have here? Here's our front band. Let me get a little bit tighter here. There we go. So, a little wider. Grab a rag, adjust this a little bit here. Let's try to make this a useful video a little bit anyway. So, what we've got here is the front band. Here's the adjuster for it. So what you do is you crank this down to spec, and then when the transmission wants to engage this band, applies force on this lever, pushes the strut, locks the band in place, prevents that ring gear from spinning, and exactly when it decides to do that, I don't really know. I'm just kind of taking this thing apart. I'm looking for obvious problems. So try to soak some of this fluid up here yet. This guy is just in here loose. This is a spring for a plastic accumulator. And behind that is a longer spring. So it's together like that. I'm going to take a look here. This is a scarf cut seal. Grab a pick here. You'll be able to see this is a scarf cut seal. We're going to end up replacing that probably. I'm going to go through here. We're going to place all the seals. We're going to get this guy looking nice. So this guy here, he's kind of dirty. We'll get him cleaned up. Probably won't use parts cleaner on this guy since he's plastic. And we don't want to ruin the plastic. So that was the center accumulator, whatever that's worth. That probably applies tension to something. It must apply tension to something in here. That may engage a clutch pack or something. I'm not really sure. That's definitely looking like an accumulator. Spring itself, it's alright. It's all in one piece. Ends are smooth. This guy here, same thing, smooth ends. Nice smooth ends. I'm gonna focus, there we go. Nice smooth ends, nothing looks too scary there. Only seems to go together one way. We'll see how that holds up. So that guy came out of the middle. Yeah, we still got a little bit of fluid leaking out of here. There's probably a method to get more of this fluid out before you start. The other thing we're going to look at here, these cylinder walls. Let's get the fluid out. Let's see if I can get you nice and tight on those cylinder walls. So you're not at a real good angle to look at it there. Maybe we can get something sort of sideways a little bit. Sideways things here a little bit. We can, whoop, too far. There we go. Well, so looking at it from an angle, you can see there are some real tiny ridges in there. Can't really feel anything with my fingernail. I'm going to assume that is, I'll go ahead and assume that's normal for now. And we'll see if we get proven wrong later. Alright, so next step here. Oh boy, there's a bunch of fluid in there. I should have. Yeah, that's probably my fault. I probably had a bunch of fluid in the pan when I put it back on. Should clean the pan before I put it back on after I dropped it. Oh well. Live and learn. At least the majority of the fluid's out, so we don't have a giant leaky mess. Alright, let's come back here a bit wider. Nice wide angle. Let's see what we got now. So, we have this strut here, which connects the accumulator to the band. And we should be able to, seems like it'll want to, not quite. We'll need to loosen up that adjuster bolt for him. That looks like it's going to take a big Torx. So let's see anything too delicate under here. We'll flip this guy back on its belly. It'll bleed out a bunch of transmission fluid again, no doubt. So, oh, even with the valve body off, this bugger is still fairly heavy. As AVE would say, she's got some gravity in her. There we go. So, now I've got the adjuster bolt here. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, there we go. There he is. And you can see we got, maybe you can see there's some crud in the head. I'm going to use a different pick. Clean some of that out. I got the right angle guy. He seems like the tool for the job, right? Let's get this guy nice and clean. Let's get the big bits out so we can get the Torx driver in there. And then, yeah, let's see if we can just extract the whole thing with a Torx. I'm thinking might need to get on there with a box wrench and back that nut off. In fact, why don't I try that first? We got some box wrenches lying around here. What size do you think that is? What size are we here? We are bigger than 17. It's like a 3/4 is a pretty good fit. If we can get an angle on her here. So, come loose. We got a lot of leverage. Woo. Right. There we go. Broke loose. So now I just gotta. There we go. Finger tight. So we got our front band adjuster out here. Sorry, it's not really framed well, but there we go. Front band adjuster is out. He will need to get recalibrated when he goes back in, obviously. And we'll use the service manual when we get to that part. So I used 3/4 on that lock nut for him. Now, with that out, we ought to be able to roll her on her back again. Oh yeah, she did bleed out. Look at that mess. Oh, well. We're gonna take a second here and just clean this up a little bit. I should have bought stock in Bounty. So we are going to be going through the paper towels. I know, the blue shop towels will probably be a better tool for the job, but in this case, I got what I got. It's going to be a lot of the story here. We got what we got, and we're going to make it work. Darn it. Now, with that done, what we need to do is move this strut. Let's get back in frame. Yeah. Still pretty heavy. Alright, so we should be able to, there we go, nice and loose. Now remove this strut. We're going to take a quick look at it, see if it appears to care about which way it goes in. I don't see any profile here that indicates that it cares which way it goes. So this looks like it is a pretty symmetrical part. So that is the front band strut, according to the videos that I've been watching. So we'll pull him out. We'll set him over here. Now this guy here is retained by a snap ring. It's one of our accumulators. We're going to need a C-clamp or something to take up some of that pressure. There is spring tension behind him. So when we get to that part, probably a C-clamp or something. But this center part doesn't seem to move so much. I think he actually pops out somehow. We'll worry about that bridge in a little bit here. Okay, so that front band is nice and loose. And I think what we're going to do now... Oh, look at that. That band. Yeah. That's interesting. This guy doesn't seem to completely disengage. I don't know if it's supposed to or not. But what we need to do is we got to take the pump off of the front. So we are going to rotate this guy around. Show you the front pump. Oh. There we go. So here's the pump in the front. Try to get her in frame. And how are we on the zone? All right, can we go wider? Hang a little wider. Okay, so front pump assembly. These look suspiciously like maybe they're 14s. Oops, doodles. Slippery when wet. Okay, well 13 fits, but it's feeling a little sloppy. Let's try 12. 12 does not fit at all. That was a 6.13. I think we'll be okay with him. Alright, try to use a rag here with this to keep from boogering that up too bad. So let's see if we can't just leave them in place again so that if they're different lengths, which I'm not expecting they will be, Oh, you never know. Alright, let's see what we got here. So we got those are all the same length. So we're going to do very much like we did with the transmission pan bolts, because I am a little absent-minded sometimes. And we're going to mark a baggie, put those in it. Those are going to be the front pump bolts. Got a baggie, got my Sharpie, front pump bolts. All right. Get those in here.